Good morning, I'm Jeff. I'm a sewer tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 5456. This is a duplex. 5456 is the left side unit. Anyway, we're going to do a sewer scope. Our clean out here is right smack dab between both the units. It's a 4-inch ABS clean out. We're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. Here we go. And transitions here at about 2 feet in over to 4-inch PVC pipe. We'll give this joint another look-see once we come back here. I want to make sure that doesn't look like it's open to the ground. It'll be easier to see that when we drain the water out of the line. And just transition back over to ABS plastic. And we do have a belly there in the line, and then it right here, just where the belly ends, basically, it transitions back over to 3034 PVC pipe, or to 3034, and then it hits the main lateral here at about 52 feet out. I'm going to go do locates to verify where this where the line terminates, and then we'll let the line drain out completely before pulling back. Alright, I did locate the camera head successfully at the main lateral out on Nicole Court. And our line's all drained out at this point here. This is just standing water that's left over. So it looks like the standing water essentially goes all the way up to the main lateral here. So we'll pull back here and see how this looks now that it's drained. So at this point here, the water level's gone over the top of the camera, which is, there's at least an inch of water there. It looks like it's sitting right at about an inch of water. And once you get 5 feet of pipe with at least 3/4 to 1 inch of water, in my experience, that's where you generally will start to see debris build up. And that's stuff that should go down the line like toilet paper. We do have a flush coming down the line, by the way, so I want to make sure we mark this here. This is at 41 feet. Actually, it's about 40 feet here where the belly starts, and it extends out to 52 feet. As you can see here by the cleanliness of the line, that it is at this point does not have any significant debris buildup. The line is functioning. There's adequate flow to the main. But if things like big wads of toilet paper start going down the line, any type of fats down the sink, cooking oil, fatty foods get blending up, going down there, tampons, paper towels, all that kind of stuff will tend to hang up in the belly very easily and can clog up. So anyway, because of that reason, I am going to recommend a repair. However, obviously, in this circumstance, it is still functioning. So if you decide not to do a repair on this, I would recommend rescoping the line in a year to keep an eye on it, see what it looks like at that point. And then from there, if you're not seeing a whole lot of buildup in the line, you can kind of decide how often you want to keep an eye on it. But rental situations, this is a duplex, become a little trickier. It's harder to guarantee what's going down the line when you've got renters in. So that's why I suggest rescoping it to see what it looks like. Because every household is vastly different in how they live in the house and all that stuff. I'll get this mapped out with white paint. This is going to be in the street area. Okay, at this point here, we're about 2-3 feet out into the street. We're at 7 feet deep. All right, I have the belly mapped out. Again, the whole thing is in the or under the street. It's at 7 feet deep at both ends. And I would recommend contacting the city. It's possible the city may take responsibility at the right-of-way or at the street curb. At this point right now, the line is still functioning. We currently have adequate flow to the main, and we don't have any significant debris buildup, but because we've got a 12-foot belly here with an inch of standing water throughout the entire thing, it puts the line at a much, much higher risk of debris buildup and clogs than a line that drains out properly. So recommend that be repaired. Again, if no repair is done, I would rescope the line in a year to keep an eye on it and see what it looks like. We have some water coming down the line here. We'll see if this drains out. We do have tenants living in both units here, so it's going to be hard to guarantee no water flow. So the spots that I know there's no bellies, we're going to continue on through here. The last spot we really need to check out here is that joint right at the very beginning of the line. Again, especially when there's a belly in the line, you want to start treating your line more like a septic system. You want as little food going down the disposal as possible, and the biggest thing is not to put any fatty stuff down the kitchen sink. No cooking oil or grease or anything like that. And then as far as the toilet goes, folded toilet paper should be the only item going down the toilet. Balling up a huge wad of toilet paper can be as bad as a paper towel, so these are good to watch for. So we're going to let the line drain out here as much as we can. Look at this joint. At this point, we just have a tiny little amount of water trickling through. It's not going to... What's happened here is the pipe has settled to a certain extent. What concerns me is how close this joint is to a tree. And it almost looks like... It's so hard to get a good look at it, but on the left side of the screen there, down near the flow line, there's kind of a brown ridge looking thing kind of going from the side of the pipe into the flow line. That may actually be a root intrusion there coming through, or starting to come through. At this point here, the line's still functioning. All said and done, there's less than a quarter inch of water here for about a foot. So it's not the water that concerns me, it's the fact that this joint is starting to shift here and move, and it's right next to a large tree. So at this time, I don't see any issues. We might have the very start of a root intrusion there. There's just not enough there to go off of to get a good view of it. But I'll locate this and mark it. I recommend a repair here, but at this time, it's really hard to tell if that joint has been breached and is open to the ground or not. They're showing some separation on the right side of the pipe there, but you often have a rubber fern coat around these joints, so it may still be sealed off to the ground. But enough's going on here right close to this tree. This one kind of makes me nervous that at some point, if that joint's compromised, the tree root's going to bust right through there. Alrighty, I've located this. This is just a couple feet out from the clean out here at the front of the house. Marked it with a white X. Getting the camera head here at about 2 feet deep. Again, this is kind of a hard one because it looks like we may have the start of a root intrusion here. Being this close to this tree, it's only about 2 feet, 2.5, 3 feet away from the actual tree trunk itself. So this is well within the range of those roots, and it will have big roots. I have a sneaking suspicion that's possibly what caused this joint to start moving. The roots could be putting pressure on the line and causing it to pull apart there. And I'm just concerned with as close it is to this tree, with a compromised joint, it makes it really easy for roots to get into there. So whether the roots are causing this separation or settling or not, it's hard to say, but being close to the tree, I do recommend it be repaired so that we don't get a root intrusion through there. Well, again, that's marked with a white X right out front here. And I'm going to try and scope back into the house here. I'll only be able to go so far, but just to make sure we don't have any debris buildup or anything like that. That camera is scraping up a little grease. There's actually hardly anything in the line here. We can't have water running when we're going this way, and we have nothing to clean the camera lens off with. That's as far as I can go there. Everything is, and that's actually the very end of the line. That's going up into the vent. So all that pipe we just scoped there is also in good condition. and functioning properly. The exterior line here, we have an issue at 2 feet where it looks like we may have the start of a root intrusion. It's hard to say that one at this point, but we definitely have a joint that's settling there and is starting to separate. So I recommend that be repaired, and that's mostly so you don't get a root intrusion in the future. At this time, that joint's not affecting flow. And then we also have a belly out in the street that goes from 40 feet to 52 feet at 7 feet deep. We have a belly there causing an inch of standing water. At this time, we do have adequate flow to the main. The line is functioning, but I'm concerned the issues I've already mentioned can affect that. No repairs are done. I just recommend keeping an eye on the line, doing a rescope about every year. And this is right next to the cleanout. This is that spot where the joint's showing some movement.